too many aviation organizations worldwide? And every time you think about these organizations, you get confused? What is ICAO, EASA, FAA, CAA, and NAA? And what is the difference between all of them? Which one of these organizations is going to issue your pilot license? Do you need a clear picture how aviation is organized worldwide?
Hello everyone, this is Aly Bayoumy and I'm your captain today. So, fasten your seatbelt, joy mode on, learning mode on, and we are ready for takeoff. Can you imagine a world of aviation where every single country sets its own regulations and rules for aviation? For that reason, the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, came into being in 1947 to seek harmonization, to avoid friction, to promote cooperation and understanding between all nations. ICAO is not an international aviation regulator. ICAO is a United Nations specialized agency that manages the administration and the governance of the SARBs. What is that? What is SARBs? It is the standard and recommended practices, which are the international regulation and rules that ensure that the civil aviation sector all over the world is safe, efficient, secure, economically sustainable, and environmentally responsible. These SARBs are the reference for every state all over the globe to develop its own national civil aviation regulations, CARs. ICAO SARBs are not legally binding by themselves. They form the basis of the national regulations for every state. Accordingly, ICAO does not have any authority over national governments, cannot restrict a country's airspace, shut down routes, or condemn airports or airlines for poor safety performance or customer service. The ICAO provides the fundamental guidelines, so every country takes the SARBs and writes down its own regulations according to its own requirements. These changes, however, are subject to ICAO's approval. And here is the main point of today's topic. ICAO shall not issue your license. So it's a big mistake to say that I hold or I will obtain an ICAO license. You can say, I will hold or I will obtain a license in accordance with ICAO standards. And here will appear another regulatory body, which is the CAA, Civil Aviation Authority, sometimes known as the National Aviation Authority, NAA. The CAA is a fairly generic title used to describe the organization in every nation which is responsible for setting the national aviation regulation in the country, the CARs. Do you remember this term? The CAA is also determining the policy of the use of the airspace, the licensing of the airlines, and the flight crew personnel. So again, which organization is going to issue my license? It is the Civil Aviation Authority where your training took place. As an example, if you are going to obtain your license in Germany, so the German Civil Aviation Authority will issue your license. EASA, the European Aviation Safety Agency. EASA is responsible for the aviation rules for its member states within the European Union, and it is the centerpiece of the European Union strategy in aviation safety. Its mission is to promote the highest common standards of safety and environmental protection in civil aviation. The agency works hand in hand with the national authorities of the European Union, which continue to carry out many operational tasks, such as certification of individual aircraft or licensing of pilots. So again, it is another big mistake to say that I hold or I will obtain an EASA license. EASA is not issuing a pilot license. And here you can say that I hold or I will obtain a license in accordance with EASA Flight Crew Licensing Standard. That means if you are going to obtain your license in Spain, so the Spanish Civil Aviation Authority will issue your license and you will hold a Spanish license. Here is the great news. If your license is issued by one of EASA's member states, you are allowed to fly privately or commercially in any of EASA member states. So, to obtain an EASA license is a big advantage. The last organization of today's topic. Woof. It is the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration. FAA is the National Aviation Authority of the United States of America, and it is responsible for overseeing all aspects of aviation in the US, ensuring that the skies remain safe and that all the aircraft in operation follow a strict set of guidelines, and make sure that every pilot is adequately qualified for their role. In order to achieve that, the FAA has set out a certain set of regulations known as the Federal Aviation Regulations, FARs. If you set your license in the US, the FAA will issue your license and you will have FAA license and you are allowed to fly in the United States with your FAA license. In the end, to have more information about how aviation is regulated in your country or any other country all over the globe, visit the website of the Civil Aviation Authority of that country. Landing checklist. Subscription on. Notification bell set. Comments and questions as required. Like and dislike as required. Landing checklist completed.